You are listening to Claret Blue, an Aston Villa podcast brought to you by Birmingham Live. Hello, welcome back to the Claret Blue podcast. My name is Dan Robertson. I'm absolutely boiling sat in here. I'm usually sat downstairs working from home at the moment, but I'm up in the office to chat all things Villa with Ashley Priest. Ashley, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I've got a bit of a dab on as well myself. I've had a shave. I feel like a new man now. And Villa won 4-0 and looking good in doing so. And it was great to see the fans back yesterday as well at the Banks. It's a real carnival-like atmosphere. And football's back. Yeah, it's really good to see. And yeah, the game's coming thick and fast now, Dan.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? As much as the Euros was fun, I'm all back in Villa mode now. I've got my shirt on. We've only played one pre-season game, but like I said, England were good and we got to the final. That was a nice, enjoyable ride. But just seeing Villa back is always good. And my preference is Villa over England, say it quietly. How was the game? Just your general thoughts on what you saw. And we'll talk about how much we read into pre-season later. But a 4-0 win and Villa were comfortable, weren't they?
Yeah, a lot of excitement before the game. Obviously, Buendia, Ashley Young's return after 10 years. I was walking to the press pit as well, and someone told me Dean Smith was not going to be here. He's been self-isolating. So I found out that just before the club tweeted it, and a bit of a surprise, but I suppose not one really. We haven't seen Dino on the videos in the match galleries and whatnot. So yeah, and then Shakespeare took charge. Mark Delaney helped him out as well, and the new boys really come to the fore. And yeah, Buendia, star of the show. Just some unreal passing. I've got to say, them assists and the young boys stepping up as well. Great to see Aaron Ramsey getting a goal. Philogene Bidice. Jacob looked very good as well. And yeah, nice to see the Youth Cup winners being amongst the first team group and looking good in doing so as well. And yeah, the atmosphere was great as well. 3,500 Villa. There's probably a bit more as well in the WALSALL end. And yeah, really good crack. We really enjoyed it. And got great to be down there, Dan. Really good.
John Terry also not there. People kind of surprised that he didn't step up to take charge with Shakespeare taking charge for the game. And people kind of started to put two and two together with the Swansea manager leaving that maybe John Terry's on his way out. Is there any truth in him leaving, first of all? Or is it just the fact that John Terry's probably isolating as well because Dean Smith is?
Yeah, I mean, the club remain coy on this, but yeah, putting two together. I think JT's isolating. They're back at home with his family as well. He has been seen at training either, so he'll be back in due course. And yeah, I mean, the Swansea reports are quite interesting. I'm yet to check in with the Wales Online colleagues down there. Obviously, Steve Cooper's moving on, but yeah, I still see JT being here. I'll do some digging to see if Swansea are interested in him. But as it stands, that's not the case. JT will be at Villa this coming season. But yeah, it's interesting because JT's got only less than 12 months on his current contract now. So he's got 1 year left, and we'll see where it takes us. Obviously, Smith got Shakespeare in. There's a good backroom staff there as well. And I don't know if supporters seen the little photo Villa uploaded yesterday. Millie Edinax on the training ground. He was in between Cutler and Steer. And so yeah, I think Edinax stepped up just to help out, which is great to see. He's got the club at heart, hasn't he, Jedinak? And his role at Villa is a loans manager, so he'll be sorting out the loans for the youngsters. But he's done coaching before at Villa under 18, so he stepped up at the time of need, and a few others did yesterday in terms of the coaching side. So yeah, I wouldn't read too much into JT missing yesterday. I think he's self-isolating as a precaution, and yeah, we'll see if he's there on Saturday.
Absolutely loads of questions flying through, by the way. So we will do a little Q&A section at the end of this, and we'll get through pre-season first of all. Loads of comments about Leon Bailey, which I assumed you knew would be coming your way when we started this earlier today.
I'm laughing at the we want our fatty back.
Exactly that. I was literally about to say, can you clarify what this is? I hope this wasn't a reference to either of us two. I saw it as in one of your headlines, we want our fatty back from last night. Yeah. I watched it on AVTV, so I heard what the crowd was singing, but I couldn't quite hear what it was. Explain what this story is about.
Yeah, it's good nature between the Walsall fans and the Villa fans. I did ask what the crack was. I was the other side of the stadium, and I seen the Walsall fan swirling his top around, and he got escorted away. And then Villa fans saying, "We want our fatty back." And it was all good natured, really good fun. And the police let him back in, and there's big cheers and that. So yeah, really good camaraderie between the supporters yesterday, and yeah, everyone had a good time.
Classic pre-season, wasn't it, as well, with Villa singing You're Only Here to See the Villa and all those kind of things. Just classic club football is back, and I'm absolutely here for it. Before we go into the what we think of Buendia and Watkins and all the other players that played yesterday, how much do we read into pre-season? Because I was doing the social media posts for us yesterday, and goal and all these updates and all this kind of stuff, and people going, calm down, it's only Walsall. And while to an extent, yes, I agree with that. Part of me feels like you can only beat who's in front of you. I think Arsenal are yet to win in pre-season. I think Spurs lost to somebody or drew. Yeah. Newcastle lost. You don't look at those sides and go, oh, well, they're losing games. They're not going to be great this year. Whereas you don't look at Villa and go, they're winning. They're going to be brilliant this year. And I know you can't read too much into it, but just winning in general is a feel-good thing, isn't it? You want to start going into the season on a high and everyone's happy today because Villa have won. Yes, it was only Walsall, but we could have lost, and then we'd be going, "Oh Christ, we lost," and that's not a great start. So for me, yes, it's pre-season. You don't read massive amounts into it, but you beat what's in front of you.
Well, back in 2019 at the Banksies, I think I remember Jota. It turned into a prime Messi that night. Yeah. It was really good over pre-season, Jota, and he didn't really cut it in the Prem, did he? So yeah, you can't read too much into these games. They're there for just a workout, to be honest, but. Yeah, the manner of the performance, just the golfing class was there for all to see there last night. And they're taking two squads, young squads as well. I've noted it down. There's 15 academy players last night and 13 first teamers. So I think I penned a little comment piece saying this is Nassef's and where's his vision, having a young Villa side. And it was quite apt that it came on the third anniversary, of them taking over, and really good to see two sets of squads going at it, youngsters as well, proving themselves, and there was loads of quality on show. Dan Watkins as well, looking hungry for goals. That little link up between him and Buendia. Yes, it's only Walsall, but they're getting an understanding already. It's the first time they played together, and yeah. That's what they did after 20 odd minutes, and that was a really big plus for me.
Yeah.
Elsewhere, I think Cash looked on the money. Yeah, I'm just going around the old team.
Nice.
Really. Oh yeah, God, yeah,
good.
He's a fun, but yeah, really good. Really pleased with the youngsters as well. That they fitted in really well. I think a few of them will be playing men's football this season, going out on loan, so that they stepped up to the plate big time, and yeah, really positive. I came away from the Banks is really positive. It was really professional performance.
Yeah, we'll preface this whole podcast by saying it's only Walsall. We understand that. I'm not going to keep saying it every time I make a point about a player. That pass from Buendia to Watkins for the goal and the finish, that little isolated moment could happen against anybody. It doesn't matter. It was only Walsall. That's a bit of individual quality on display there. Give me a little bit kind of scouting report for Buendia. Then you've seen him in the flesh now for the first time with 3,000 or 4,000 other Villa fans. I'm yet to see him in the flesh. Also, by the way, the kit looks very nice with it on the players. I've changed my mind on the kit since it was first leaked. But what was Buendia like seeing him on AVTV for 45 minutes? Looks very exciting.
Yeah, a little magician. Yeah, I think he can see a pass, over needle pass if it's on. Watkins is always looking for them. And when Grealish came out of the team for a large period of last season, Watkins was isolated. But I said this afterwards, he must be licking his lips playing with this little Argentinian now who will look to feed him relentlessly. And yeah, a winning runner as well. I seen Daniel Farke's comments last week saying he's got the graft to go with the class as well. He's pressing, he's really good. And I think that's why Villa signed him. He's a worker, selfless worker. He's unselfish as well. He always looks to pass, and hopefully he can add some goals to his game as well. So really looking forward to seeing him start for Villa this season. And I think he could be a good one, Dan. A real good signing.
Where do you think he fits in? Because I thought he was playing a little bit deeper than I expected he would. I thought he'd be much closer to Watkins as almost a traditional number 10 and be not off the shoulder of Watkins, but a lot closer. As the two balls that he played through for the goals, he was pretty much on the halfway line for the one of them. Do you think he'll drop back a bit deeper in games, or will he be closer to Watkins when the actual football begins?
Well, I think he likes that right wing position. To start with, he did that. He played predominantly there at Norwich.
That might depend on whether Leon Bailey comes through as well, which is a talking point for later.
Yeah, but it was good to see Matty Cash bombing on, which allows Buendia the space. Do you know what I mean? Matty Cash is marauding forward. The opposition have to think about him, and Buendia can do his bits in the middle. He does like to drift inside, and he does like to go at the heart of the opposition, whether that's with a pass or a run. So yeah, I think he can float around. I think that's what Dean Smith wants. I think he wants like an interchanging three behind the Watkins, whether that be Grealish, Buendia, Traore, obviously, and whoever's going to come in. Obviously, Bailey, the latest man linked. So I think he wants a bit of a fluidity in there. Keep the opposition guessing. Buendia can pick up the ball in one area of the pitch. Grealish as well, and I think Watkins is in for a field day this season. I think he'll beat last season's total of 14 Prem goals. And I think he's on for a big one, Watkins. He's going to be the big beneficiary of this. And Buendia, really nice, smart signing.
Yeah, I've tweeted it kind of in jest saying, someone tell me why Ollie Watkins isn't scoring 25 goals this season. And someone said, well, that's because he's going to score 30. But you do think with Grealish and Buendia behind him, it's made for him to score plenty of goals, isn't it? He, when he gets a chance, he's a great finisher. It's just providing him with that service, and it does look like now, whether Jack's there or not, whether he's injured or playing rather, I'm not saying that he's leaving, Buendia and others will now step up to the plate and provide for Watkins.
Yeah, that can only benefit Villa if Watkins in the goals as well. I'd like to see him break Benteke's 19-goal record.
Yeah, I think he'll get 20 in the league. Is my prediction.
That'd be his aim. Yeah, 100%, and it'll be another. And if he does that, I think his England chances will be in good stead then for Qatar. So he's got that carrot as well. So yeah, I think Watkins on for a brilliant season, 100%.
What did he look like in the flesh? Because I don't know whether I've just forgotten what he was like last season for Villa, and obviously I didn't see him at all apart from on TV. I felt like he looked bigger. He looked musclier. His arms looked bigger. Do you think he's been on the weights over the summer? Or am I just absolutely imagining it?
I think so. I mean, they all look bigger in the flesh down at WALSALL as well, because you pitch side. You know what I mean? It's quite a close environment. Ashley Young's big as well. I didn't realise how big he was. But as for Watkins, he's always been a good worker. He always looks after himself. Have you seen them videos doing the bleep test?
Yeah.
He won it by a mile, didn't he? So yeah, he's just so fit. He's lean, fit and lean machine. He's Watkins, and yeah, I think he's so fast, quick. He's got everything in his locker. So hopefully, he'll be looking to be more clinical this season, but he'll have plenty of chances to score and put it in the back of the net. So yeah, I think he's bulked up again, and that's what this new performance centre's for as well, Dan.
True.
To make players bigger and better than ever before. Chuck Moika, he's a unit at 17.
Yeah.
Village and Badice is beefed up. Jacob Ramsey's every bit a Premier League player now. He really impressed me yesterday. His manner, he's bulked up as well. So yeah, I think Villa are building some machines, as it were, and that's the style of player they want to go at. They want to be a pressing side, and keep the opposition pinned back and win football matches. So that's what it's all about. And behind the scenes, it's all going well.
Yeah, you've kind of threw me there saying that Chuck Maker's only 17, because you look at him and think, well, he must be older, he looks bigger, he looks stronger than that. It's crazy his potential that he's got, and we'll talk about his future in a second. Just wanted to mention Ashley Young there, as you mentioned him. You can't believe that he's 35 or 36 soon. He still looks so fit. He looks great in Claret Blue as well. It looks like he hasn't aged a day since he left Villa 10 years ago. Tim Fisher says, was Target injured last night, or was he just given a game off and that's why Young was playing? And someone asked earlier, which I can't find, said that, do you think Young will start in the Premier League? So if you want to take both of those questions for the guys. Yeah,
Target picked up a knock in training. I think he's touch and go for Stoke as well. Nothing major. He picked up a knock. He wasn't involved yesterday at all, as a precaution. So we'll see if he's there at Stoke. But yeah, he's picked up a slight niggle. He was missing alongside Sanson as well. Still managing his knee injury from back in April, what he sustained against Fulham. So we'll see where that was. There was no post-match press conference last night, so I couldn't quiz the Shakespeare and the guys about injuries and whatnot. So we'll see when the lads are back. Bertrand Traore is coming back soon. He had a groin operation 3 months ago. He's working with Ollie Stevenson, just building that movement back up in his groin and strength. And so hopefully he'll be back soon as well. So yeah, those guys mentioned that they'll need some pre-season games to get back into the swing of things, and perhaps Stoke could come too soon. But obviously the Spurs next week, Bristol City, and obviously Sevilla.
Obviously, it's time for the youngsters to mix it in with the first team in pre-season. This is what this time of year is for. What did you think of the youth academy prospects that played last night? Philogene Dice got a goal. I thought Aaron Ramsey looked tidy as well. Jacob Ramsey, also very tidy player. Chuck Maker in there as well. What happens with those guys? I feel like this is going to be a continuing theme until the transfer window ends, but I think last week we were talking about it, and I was with James on a podcast, and I was saying, I think it's probably you loan them out and give them some experience playing regular football. And they come in around the first team, and you think, I don't know, maybe you do just keep them around because Villa's facilities are so good that they'll continue to develop with Villa as well. But then I guess that doesn't really beat first team football with a League One side or League Two side somewhere else. So what's your opinion on the youth guys? What would you do if you were Millie Edinak, for example? And what do you think Villa will actually do with them?
Yeah, interesting point. That's the big decision needs to be made in the coming weeks. I think they'll be given pre-season. I think they'll be there until August. The youngsters.
Yeah, agreed.
They'll be around the group, and then they'll sit down and they'll assess the clubs who they'll go out to. And Villa want them to play week in, week out. They want the first team football guaranteed for them. So it's what clubs can offer them as well. And if the environment's good as well, then I can be doing all these checks to make sure the Villa youngsters are looked after and that their loans are worthwhile. Obviously, Indiana Veselev suffered a little bit last season. He wasn't fancied at Burton and then Cheltenham. So, yeah, he's gone backwards because of a bit of a disappointing loan, a wrong fit, as it were. He's out into Miami now. But yeah, I think they all stick around. I've been watching the youngsters last couple of seasons now closely. I followed the Youth Cup success last season every round and really like what I see. I don't want to overhype them too much, but they've got a great bunch there. Villa have. They've invested well. They recruited the likes of Bogard from Feyenoord last summer. He's developed really well. He looked good last night. He drew some rave reviews from fans. He played centre half. He played midfield. Chuck Moika's come on leaps and bounds. Smith obviously has had 2 Premier League appearances now. Philogene Bidice has been afforded game time in the Premier League, and more will follow. Interesting, the likes of Louis Barry, Brad Young, Arjun Reiki didn't get on yesterday, so yeah, it would be interesting if those guys feature at Stoke on Saturday. So they want a bit more clarity on what their situation is. But it's nice to have them around the first team group. I've seen Kessler's interview this week saying Ezri Konsa's been brilliant for him. Loads of advice. Freddie Gilbert's been giving Kessler pointers as well. It's just invaluable. Dan, I spoke this in my piece as well about Seb Revan, just warming up with Ashley Young. He must be pinching himself. Serie A winner, a Premier League winner, Europa League winner, and Seb Revan's 18, local lad from Handsworth, I think he is, and it's just invaluable for them to be lining up against these guys. And in the game, Seb Revan started a bit shaky. He was filling in at centre half, and Ashley Young, I heard him, said, just settle down a little bit, you're all right. Just play it simple, and Revan improved. And just that little tidbits you take from the pros, the solid pros. And yeah, I mean, Jacob Ramsey's learned a hell of a lot off the likes of McGinn and players like that over the last 12 months. And Villa will want to keep a few of them around in the first team. I think Chuck Moika stays around. Philogene Bidice, there's a decision there. If Villa sign a new winger, what are his first team prospects like? But yeah, decisions still need to be made. But I'd like to see a good cluster of them stick around for sure. Yeah, so we'll see with that one, Dan. I don't know what the fans are saying about that, but we'll see.
It seems to be a mixture of either everyone thinks they should all go out on loan and they all get experience, or they should all be kept around because they're so promising. They'll probably get minutes with Villa, so it'll be a mixture, won't it? Some of them will go and play half a season and be assessed in January. Some will go for the full season, and some will stick around. Absolutely obvious point for me there, just saying what will happen. We don't know who with which one. What about Louis Barry? I suppose that's the one that fans will keep coming back to, because he was the one that was kind of looked at as the star of the academy coming through, the big move from Barcelona and all that kind of thing. Scores against Liverpool, and then you don't really hear much about him in comparison to some of the others. What's Barry's situation? Because Ian Slater here in the comments is saying give him a go in the first team. Yeah,
I'd love to see him in the first team. Real a predator, real great finisher, as we've seen last season. But yeah, Barry's situation. Yeah, I mean, he looks a bit flat in the warm-up. Obviously, the lads who weren't involved yesterday, Brad Young, and they're on the outside of the box as the starting 11 did a keep ball drill. So they were not tossed to one side. They were there on merit in the first team, and they're on the bench just in case injuries happen. But yeah, he must have been gutted, obviously, seeing his fellow teammates involved in first team action, and Louis Barry's yet to step up to senior football. So interesting situation with that one. I'll keep tabs on that. I think if first team football, senior football isn't on the agenda for him this season, I do think a loan could be forthcoming. I think he needs to play men's football. I think he's done with 18 football. I think he's done with 23s. I think he needs to go out there and score some goals at senior level and develop that way. So I think he could want to move out on loan. Perhaps a European loan could suit him. Do you know what I mean? Going out to the Dutch league or something like that. That suits his style of football, or whether they go down the leagues, we'll see. But yeah, interesting point about Louis Barry. I really want to see him in action. So plenty more friendlies to come. So we'll see. But yeah, it must have been a tad disappointing not to be involved yesterday. But I'm sure there'll be plenty of options for him in the coming weeks.
Talk about Hourihane and Gilbert a little bit as well. They both played in the second half yesterday. Two that have been linked with moves away at various times during their Villa career. Probably more notably Hourihane at this stage, with Gilbert being back up to Matty Cash. If there was a move in for Hourihane, you'd expect he wouldn't be playing in pre-season at the moment. And with the Swansea manager leaving as well, where he was on loan last year, you'd imagine he's not going to go back there. So what happens with Hourihane then? Because I think his time at Villa probably is up this summer. And if he does go, he goes with our absolute best wishes. Probably one of our best pound-for-pound signings in the Championship era, certainly. So what happens with his future, do you think?
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, he's a bit of a fan's favourite, Hourihane. He was yesterday. Fans bellowed out his name, Conor Hourihane, and he loved it. Yeah, big talk on the pitch. He's just a solid pro, isn't he? I've seen the videos as well at Bodymore. He welcomed Emi Buendia on his first day. Made sure he had a warm welcome. And yeah, he ain't one to kick up a fuss, Conor. I know he did last season when Jacob Ramsey was in ahead of him, but he gets his head down. He works hard for the team. Solid pro, like I've said, but. Well, yeah, we'll see. I mean, Villa's midfield isn't really stacked at the minute, is it, to be fair? Obviously, Douglas Luiz in the Olympics action, 12 today against Germany. So he'll be out until the start of August. And yeah, we'll see. I mean, a couple of injuries away from a bit of a disaster in the midfield area. So I think Hourihane will probably stay till late in the window. Smith will assess his options in midfield. And if he kind of wants to go out and play first team regular football, he'll do that. I mean, I believe there's only 12 months left in his contract, so there's a decision there to be made. But he ain't going to kick up a fuss, Hourihane. I think he'll stay, work hard over pre-season, get himself in tip-top shape, and he'll be there when called upon. Such a good guy to have around the group as well. He's willing the lads on last night. Villa were in cruise control, but he demanded more from them. So a real leader to have amongst that young group, which is invaluable, like I've said. And he's a great guy to have around the group. And Villa fans will be sad to see him go, but it's up to Conor if he wants to move on. And if his first team prospects aren't there, then he will do.
Let's talk about incomings then. I think we've done the WALSALL game now, unless I've forgotten anything. How many more signings do you think we need, and what positions would you be going after if you were Aston Villa manager?
What we need, obviously, last night highlighted the fact that Villa was short at centre half. Obviously, playing Seb Revan, a left back at centre half, and he struggled initially. That hit home for me as well. There's only two centre halves at the club at present: Courtney Horse and Edric Konsa. Tyrone Mings on holiday, so there's only three there. You are short if you go into the season with three centre backs. For me, Villa fighting on three fronts this season as well: Premier League, Carabao Cup, and FA Cup. So I think we need one more centre half, a right side to challenge Konsa. I think Mings and Horse are fine at left-sided centre-back as well. So a centre-back for me is there. But Villa want an attacking player. Leon Bailey reported this yesterday. He's on the radar. He's been offered to Premier League clubs. And he fits the bill what Villa are looking for. Nothing's imminent on that one, Leon Bailey, but he's there. He's available. If Villa do wish to act, and Villa are aware of his availability. A player banging form last season, 15 goals and 11 assists for Leverkusen. So that's a deal that can be done. Obviously, Villa moved on from Emil Smith Rowe now. He was a prime target as well. I think he's going to sign a new Arsenal contract. So irons are in the fire, as it were, then I'd say. But attacking options are being explored at present. I think Smith wants at least one more in there to complement Buendia, Grealish, Traore as well. He's had groin trouble. Trezeguet's out injured. There's Al Ghazi. That's it, really. And obviously, Philogene Bidos did okay yesterday. So, yeah, Villa want one more in that attacking department. Leon Bailey, latest name links. We've seen Julian Alvarez. Still seeking clarity on that. We're getting nowhere with that one. But we'll see. It'll all come to fruition, of course. And, yeah, central midfielder, holding midfielder. I don't know what you think about that. I don't know what fans think about that. But I think Nakamba did well yesterday. He did really well at the back end of last season. Douglas Luiz on, obviously, Olympic Games duty. Nakamba going to the AFCON in January. And what you left with there, you left them with McGinn, Hourihane, Chuck Mwika, Jacob, Ramsey as well. So possibly a holding midfielder if Villa can do that. But yeah, needs must. I think I can see two players being brought in, centre-back and an attacking player. But obviously, holding midfielder there will be explored. And I don't know about a new keeper, Dan either. I
was about to say, what about goalkeeper?
Yeah, I think he's fine as a number two. Martinez will start every game. And Villa rate that Sinisalo highly. They finish under 21 international. So, yeah, I think Villa want to go into the season with three goalkeepers. Whether they want to sign another experienced head just in case, we'll see. But priority for me is a centre-half and another attacking player.
Yeah, the two that I've been saying all summer was a holding midfielder and a striker, and that's the two that were linked with the least out of all the positions going. A lot of the comments are asking about Tammy Abraham. We were linked with James Ward-Prowse at one point, who isn't a holding midfielder, but is a central midfielder rather than someone like Bailey who plays out wide or as a number 10. So this is probably quite a loaded question because I know there's a few topics to cover here. You've got Davis and Wesley both played yesterday, so how do you think they got on? And are they adequate backup to Watkins if Watkins gets injured? I'd be slightly concerned about them having to play a long stretch of games in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And holding midfield, if we're only playing, if we're playing a 4-2-3-1 and your first choices are McGinn and Louise, first of all, are they good enough? Do we need a holding midfielder? And there's been comments that Dean Smith is happy with McGinn playing that number 6 role, which I feel like I don't personally agree with, but I feel like I trust in Dean Smith enough and the coaching staff that if they think that's what he goes for, that's what they should do. But for me, McGinn's best running in behind and late into the box. So loads for you to go out there for the next 2 or 3 minutes. So take from that what you want to go with.
Yeah, I'll start with Keenan Davis. I think he's desperate for a loan. I think he did really well yesterday against Walsall, put himself about. But I think he needs to play week in, week out, just to develop him more. I mean, he came into the side last season. He had 5-10 minutes, did okay on occasion. Got that goal against West Brom, obviously. But yeah, I think Davis needs a loan, and I think Villa want to bring an attacker in, someone who can play up front as well, someone who can play wide. So I think Davis would such a loan deal out just to bring him on a little bit more, because obviously his first 10 minutes have been so limited over the last couple of seasons. I'll be happy with Wesley. I think he deserves a crack as Watkins is understudy, as it were. I think he wants to prove himself. I think he's battled back from such a horrific situation to where he is now. I think he did okay yesterday. He got an assist as well. So he deserves a good crack at being back as Villa striker. So I think he'll play second fiddle to Watkins. That's a given. But yeah, I think elsewhere, you mentioned about holding midfielder as well. McGinn as a 6. Yeah, trust Dean Smith with that one. But I think he says a lot about the way Villa want to go this season. Obviously, no holding midfielders linked. I think Villa want to play on the front foot. I think they're going to attack sides this season. They're going to play in opposition halves with Grealish up there, Buendia. They'll have Nakamba in there just in case. I think McGinn will play a bit advanced. So yeah, I think Smith is happy with Douglas, Nakamba, and if needed, McGinn dropping back in there, and Jacob Ramsey. I think he'll stick around as well in the first. I can't see a loan move for him. So big season for him, by the way. So yeah, I'm quite content, to be honest. It will continue to be assessed with the situation in midfield and up front in the coming weeks. But I think I'm generally happy. I can't see too much happening. I think Watkins has proven he's robust enough. Get my words out, and he's going to play every single game. So yeah, as physically possible. And Wesley will be round to ease that burden, and that'll be it. I think Villa's one more addition in the attacking area will be a wide man who can play as a 9. So Leon Bailey has done that. Julian Alvarez has done that, and yeah, if needed, I'm sure I've played there before as well. But yeah, I can see that happening, and I think it'll be Watkins all the way in midfield. I can't see too much changing.
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it, when you talk about cover, because you started to say, oh, well, Traoré might play as a number 9, but are Watkins, Wesley, Davis all going to be injured at the same time for a long enough period that we have to play a winger up front? It's probably never going to happen, but you feel like you do need that cover there just in case. Same with the 4th centre-back, isn't it? Mings, Konsa, Hawes, all going to be injured to the point where we're calling up youth centre-backs to play in the Premier League. Yeah. I know Liverpool got a load of injuries last year, which probably proves that point it can happen, but it's unlikely, isn't it? So I feel like there's benefits to be had in having a tight-knit squad that are going to all be playing their part rather than having this massive bloated squad that don't get a look in and people are unhappy. But if the worst happens and Ollie Watkins gets injured on game week 6, we are in trouble, aren't we?
That's true, yeah, it's fact, yeah, and Wesley have to come in, but touch wood, I'm touching wood down, that doesn't happen, but yeah, I mean, if disaster does happen, I don't think Villa want to go full at it and spend 60 million on a new striker. I can't see that happening at all. No. So worst comes to worst, I think Louis Barry or Brad Young will be promoted if that needs to happen. But Watkins has proved his robustness, and I think he'll start pretty much every game. And Wesley will be looking for a decent chunk of minutes next season. So it'll be them two, and if needed, you shove Jack Grealish in a false 9 or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, there's options there, but I don't think there needs to be major changes.
Right, let's go through some of these viewer comments then. We'll probably be a little bit all over the place here as I scroll through and see what's relevant and what we've already covered. So Nicky Broom says, Jack Grealish, is he going to leave? Probably the biggest question on Villa fans' lips. And someone else asked a bit later on saying that the talk's gone quiet with Jack. Is that a good sign? He's currently on holiday, so that probably doesn't really affect the situation at this point anyway. But we've come a long way from Jim White saying it was a done deal, haven't we, a few weeks ago, and it clearly wasn't true.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I like Jim White, and he had me panicking at one stage, but obviously it weren't true at all. Like I've said, conversation will be had when Jack flies back into the UK. Purslow, the owners, and Smith will sit down with him. I fully envision him signing a new contract. City haven't bid yet, or they haven't gone on strong for him. So yeah, we'll wait and see with that one. He's having his rest time at the moment, rightly so, and Villa will sit down with him. And there's a new contract on the table, and yeah, I mean, it's, like I've said this many times, Villa's just, there seems to be a different feel about Villa now. I think they're spending club record amounts on players. It's a young group, and I think Grealish wants to be a part of that. So yeah, we'll see. I expect him to stay, and but yeah, we'll see.
When you see all the stuff with Wes Edens in the books the other day, and there was a comment of an article of when he first took over, they were struggling, and he went in and had a speech to the staff and kind of said, look, anyone who doesn't believe will go on and win a championship, kind of leave now. And you always hear stories like that and you wonder how true they are, but that kind of mentality, you feel like people leading Villa in that same vein can only bring success to us at some point. It might not be next year, it might not be the year after, it might not be for 5 years yet, but you feel like if there's anyone who can sell a project to someone like Jack Grealish and all these new signings that we're going after, it's the guys that are in charge of the club right now, and there's no reason to believe that Villa aren't on an upwards trajectory at the moment. So for Jack Grealish specifically, why leave at this point? If Villa don't do anything this upcoming season, they finish 10th. Next season is a conversation to say, oh, maybe it's time to move on. But as of right now, I don't see the point of going yet. There's nothing to gain for Grealish to leave this season.
Yeah, I mean, Wes Edens has a track history of selling a project. The book is MVP, Giannis. I don't know if you've seen his interview. Really telling. He said,
I could have gone somewhere else and won an easy championship, but I wanted to stay here. And you just think you could change all those things and just put Jack Grealish's name at the start of that. I think he could be saying the same things at some point. And
that's quite telling. I mean, he's been around Wes Edens, Giannis, and similar situation at Villa. So, yeah, this is my city, my club. He said all that last September. I expect him to be here for the start of the season.
There's a lot of comments earlier on saying, like, got to go all out for Leon Bailey, what a signing he'd be, etc., etc. I know you've already talked about him a little bit earlier, but just as a fresh kind of minute or two here, what was the situation with Leon Bailey? Where's this story come from? Where do we stand as of Thursday? Is this going to happen, or is it just a club are interested in player story, and that's as far as it goes at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, a solid report came out from a colleague who's really, really good, Tom Colomos at the Daily Mail. Solid, really good friend of mine as well. He was first reported on Ashley Young coming to Villa, Emi Martinez last summer, and the Smith Rowe interest. So really solid. Put some feelers out yesterday, and found out he's been offered to Premier League clubs. Nothing imminent on that one though. He's on Villa's list. We can say that. As for a deal, nothing close, but he fits the profile, doesn't he? A player banging form. He's 23. Fits the profile, can play in a number of positions in attack, and that's a deal that can be if Villa want to act on it. So yeah, watch your space with that one. But yeah, he's on Villa's list. I can say that with confidence. So yeah, we'll watch your space with Bailey, Jamaican international, who looks the real deal.
Richard Law says Cantwell looks set to arrive next week. I saw a few bits on Twitter with this yesterday, and I thought it came from some like troll account that was saying Todd Cantwell was linked with Villa. There's a few people asked about it actually. So what's the truth with Todd Cantwell? Is he on the verge of joining Villa?
Might as well get Timu Pukki while we're at it as well. Get the three of them in. No, I haven't heard nothing on that one. I can do some digging my end as well to see what the scenario is there. But I can't see Norwich selling Buendia and Cantwell to Villa. I can't see that happening. I think Cantwell, they're quite similar, aren't they? Buendia and Cantwell, attacking flair players, and I can't see any legs in that one, but we'll see. I mean, he could be on Villa's list of attacking options, but as it stands, nothing in that rumour.
I feel like if you go into Norwich and saying we want an attacking midfielder and you've already signed Buendia, you've probably ruled out Cantwell at that point to go for Buendia. I don't think you have both, although they played together, but I don't think they both fit into Villa's starting 11. Tuanzebe on loan, any chance on the radar? A few people asking about backup centre-back and Tuanzebe's name linked again. This will be a classic. This is along the Tammy Abraham one, isn't it? Everyone wants to see him reunited with Villa after a loan spell, but is he going to come and leave Man United to sit on Villa's bench? Is there any point for that for Tuanzebe?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, but yeah, no interest from Villa's end at present. It's a deal that does make a lot of sense. I've said that before. You can play right back if needed, and he'll be suitable cover for Conor. And yeah, Villa got to sell him that. If the interest is there, they've got to sell him that project scene. You got to come in and play second fiddle to Conor. I'm not sure you want to do that. I'm not sure Man U were willing to loan him out to a club where he's going to sit on the bench. So we'll see. I mean, it's a squad game, isn't it? And if Tuanzebe was to arrive, he will be needed. So we'll see. But it's a deal that makes a lot of sense. But as it stands, nothing imminent.
Mark Hudson asks, what's the aim then for this season? Top half, top 8, top 6, couple of cup runs. We'll take this in kind of two answers then. What would you be happy with as a fan when you sit and reflect in May 2022 and think, that was a good season? And what do you expect Villa will actually go on to do? It's obviously difficult to say when transfer business isn't completed yet. But what's realistic and what would you be happy with?
Yeah, I mean, last season, I think they're so cruel to finish 11th the way they did. 55 points. I mean, it was the best total since they finished 6th under O'Neill. So yeah, I mean, that warranted a few places higher for me, but I've really got to kick on now. I think I need to be banging on that Europa League qualification door. I really do. Top 7. Really having a good go at that, good crack at that. That would represent a good season for me. If they fall short, depends on the manner in which they did. If they're going a big slump, a big poor run of games or whatnot, we'll see. But yeah, really want to have a good crack at that top 7. Dean Smith did tell me in the summer, just as the season ended, the hardest jump is making that mid-table European one. So a lot of teams have failed to do that in the past, and they fell down the slippery slope. But I can't see that happening with Villa. There has to be some sense of just levelling the expectation a little bit, considering where Villa have come in such a short space of time. But yeah, I think now it's kick on time now for me. They've got a good squad. Everyone's bedded in. Watkins will be 10 times a player next season, cash and whatnot. The good nucleus there. They're adding to it with real quality with Buendia and Ashley Young, and I think that'll be a force to reckon with next season. Adding the fact, hopefully, a packed out Villa Park. There's a couple of points there for you on the board straight away from me. They dismantled Chelsea, didn't they? Champions League winners just before with 10,000 in there. So there's some points on the board already. And yeah, I think it's right to be ambitious. I think top 7. I think they'll be banging on that, if not more. I mean, before Grealish's injury, they were 6 months off the Champions League places. So let's not forget that they're right up there and deserve to be up there. So I think it's on for a really successful season. Everything's in place. And just hopefully everyone stays injury free and they can have a real good tilt at it, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're bang on saying that the manual of how the season falls apart, if it does fall apart, is important. Yeah. If you miss out on Europe on the final day of the season, that's bad luck. If you get 3 major injuries, that's bad luck, and these things happen. I think if Grealish stays as we expect he will, and you sign these quality players with the project that you've sold them is that Villa will get into Europe at some point, that has to happen sooner rather than later. So I feel like you have to get into Europe this season. You know, if things go your way, no injuries, all that kind of thing, and go far / win a trophy. Yeah, I think if that's the season, you get 6th and win the League Cup. That's a very good season for Aston Villa, and then you push on next summer to go better than that. You say it's difficult to go from mid-table up into Europe, and I agree with that. But then you see clubs last year, like West Ham, coming up from nowhere, from 17th or 16th or wherever they finished up to Europe in one season. So it can be done if you have a great season. So the target internally, I think, will definitely be getting into Europe. I'd be happy though, like you said, with a improved finish on 11th and doing well in the trophy in a cup run. But I kind of feel like you have to get into Europe to keep hold of these talented players we've got, because it won't be long until other players in this squad, Conor, Cash, Martinez, Ollie Watkins, it won't just be Grealish that we're talking about leaving, it'll be others. So
yeah, totally agree.
Villa get into Europe and the cards are in their hands then.
it's all about momentum as well. There seems to be a real good feel factor at Villa at present. Obviously, there's a bit of, I wouldn't say anarchy, but a bit of uncertainty around other clubs. I mentioned this. Benitez at Everton, how's he going to get on? Nuno at Spurs, likewise. And Villa got a settled group, a really good group. Great manager in charge as well, and some great players. So let's not forget that. And this season as well, we can have a good crack at the FA Cup. We weren't afforded that last season, so a really good FA Cup wouldn't be nice as well. Villa can go really deep in that competition for me. So, yeah, loads of avenues for a successful season, Dan, and I think everything's shaping up to be one.
3 more questions to end before we leave. A couple of player ones. Sander Berge from Sheffield United. Luke Reynolds asks.
Yeah, nothing close. Nothing happening with that one at all, I'm afraid. Obviously, transfer rumours way back now. I think they started just after the January window. So we'll see with that one. But yeah, I can't see that happening. I've heard nothing from the Sheffield United end either. So yeah, nothing to report on Berge.
Dan Juma from Bournemouth.
Nah, again. But I think he probably is on Villa's list. Fits the profile Villa are looking for. A winger in form who can play a number of positions. But like I've said, nothing from Bournemouth's end. And just, I think, could be agent talk at the moment, trying to push out a move and just putting Villa's name to that.
Final one, on fans returning to stadiums, and COVID is obviously going to be a talking point as we head into the new season. Danny Barker says, what's your thoughts on the COVID passports for entry into stadiums? You're someone that's been going to grounds since football returned back in July last year, I think it was. So how's the experience been for you during the height of lockdown, and then as we ease out of it now, how has it been, and what do you think it'll be like with fans back? Yeah,
I spoke to a couple of the Villa lads yesterday, and it's so good to have fans back. I mean, there's no restrictions there yesterday. The Banks is obviously a couple wore face masks, but I can't stress how bad it was behind closed doors. It was terrible, awful to be a part of. Really, I was one of the lucky ones to be in there, but it was soulless. Everyone knows what it was like, and just rubbish. And I mean the 3,500, 6,000 in total there yesterday, crammed into the Banksies. It was really good, carnival-like atmosphere, the way football should be. And, really good to see. In terms of the COVID passports, I mean, I'm looking enough to be double jabbed. And, yeah, get your jabs done. I think that's the message that's being sent out. More of a political issue. I don't want to get involved.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's one of them. I ain't going to be member of Parliament anytime soon. But yeah, if you want to get back down to football, get your jabs done, and hopefully we'll all be there and get Villa Park rocking again.
Yeah, totally agree. I'm going to wrap up this Facebook Live / Claret Blue podcast now because my sweat is starting to sweat in this room. I'm absolutely boiling hot. I can just see my face getting redder and redder on screen. It's just embarrassing at this point. So thanks very much, Ash, for your analysis and insight into Walsall and the transfer window. Thanks to the abundance of questions we've had today. Absolutely loads flying through. Really appreciated Villa fans. Helped out with the show. We'll be back again. I think James Rushton is potentially doing an AFC Extra on the transfer window at the start of next week, and we'll be back to discuss probably this time next week, actually, after the next midweek pre-season game. We'll do another kind of sit-down chat on what we've seen. So thanks everyone for watching, and we'll catch you again next week. Thank you for listening to Claret and Blue, an Aston Villa podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please do let us know. We love hearing your feedback. We'll be back soon with another episode, but until then, up the Villa.